The live stream of tonight's podcast is made possible by our buddy Ian Service over at podcastaccelerator.com.
While the boys await furniture delivery, at the church there's a bit of a mystery. The cash has been plundered, so Stewart brings the thunder, solving crimes like Lord Agatha Christie.
That fresh produce stand there, that's a beauty.
What do you listen to?
My favorite murder podcast.
Taggart and Torrance podcast.
The produce stand.
Fucking sexy.
It's Thirsty Thursday, and that means we are once again hanging out at the Produce Stand, a podcast covering everything in the universe. Now, I know what you're thinking. There are many other Letterkenny podcasts out there, but this one knows who the murderer is. I'm Al, your host, and joining me in the room as always is lovely Tanya. And online we have Squirrely Matt and the Vicious Victor. And joining this week, she is, where's my notes? Okay. She's one half of the amazing writing duo that brought us last week's Alphabet Aerobics opener and the Christmas poem from the Ag Hall Social, among other things. She's a Seattle mom, a DM DGen, a great gal. She's a really great gal, and all that hoopla. Please join me in making some noise for Liz.
Wondrous!
Oh my god.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Wait.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
I regret nothing!
Welcome back to the Produce Stand, Liz.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Now, you're not new, but this is your first solo episode, even though you've been doing some brilliant writing for us. So, you know what? We're just going to do a really quick get to know you just because, we should. Where you speak to us from?
Seattle. Just outside of Seattle.
What do you do in Seattle?
I work at a small construction company in their accounting department, accounting and finance.
Very cool. And I have to mention that you're right now. There's a dueling hippo background happening right now. Victor has a picture of what's the baby hippo called?
Mashley.
What?
A mashley.
It's
in Zulu. Yeah, it's in Zulu.
Okay.
It means beautiful one.
I thought he was in San Diego.
Are you making that up?
Yes, it's in San Diego, but in the Zulu language, a mashley, it means the beautiful one.
So he's in the San Diego Zulu Zoo, and his name is Mashley.
God damn you!
Sorry, I had to do that. I've seen videos of the baby on Twitter, so yes, it's very cute. But Liz, knowing because she's your hippo counterpart, has a picture of a unicorn hippo.
Hippocorn.
A hippocorn.
I think
it's a hippo with a unicorn horn. So I think
trying to bring good vibes. Yeah. Get us a unicorn today.
I think you're trying to score some brownie points with Victor is what you're trying to
do. Nice.
All right, here we go.
How are you now?
Tonight's lineup is Matt, Al, Victor, Tanya, and our guest Liz will have the last word. Matt, how have you been since last week?
Happy New Year. It's been since New Year, hasn't it? I guess we saw each other with the McDonald interview.
Yeah,
which
that's right.
Was an awesome blast.
Mm-hmm.
That guy's a beauty.
Yeah, he was great.
Say that.
Yeah.
If you haven't listened to it, I know it comes out
next
full
Tuesday.
Frontal next week.
Full frontal.
But it's
apropos with him, yes.
It was great, and let me tell you. So I'm not going to disclose it, but he and I had some chat back and forth offline after. Oh, it's doing a thing, isn't it? And what a fucking beauty this guy is.
Mm-hmm.
Like seriously, I just appreciates the hell out of this man. We had some back and forth chat offline. They all the sluts and everyone associated with these shows have just been absolute gems. And I look forward to lots more fun interviews ahead because these are just becoming some of the highlights for sure. The week aside, I tweaked my neck last week. I don't know how the fuck I've never done this before, but I haven't been able to move my neck very far.
Oh, you're so old.
I don't know what it is. I don't even know what I did. That's the hard part. Is that what happens?
Bargaining with the kids? Just sleeping wrong, really.
The only thing I can think it was Fantasy Fair at the Woodbine Center.
Yeah,
how'd that go? Yeah.
Has it been that long? Yeah, I think it was there. I went down a slide on that, and I think
that's exactly what it was.
I think that's the only logical.
You're a 40-year-old grown man going down a slide. That's why
it fucking hurt. So here I am, like sitting with Dr. Hose on my neck, tweaking
Dr.
out.
Hose.
Yeah. You know
It's
that?
Is that a
an-
new thing? Do you get a
he's
happy
an
ending with that,
infomercial
Dr.
doctor.
Hose?
That
Is that not the
sells-
thing? I
sells
thought everyone knew what
massages.
Dr. Hose was. Isn't that a university?
Dr. Ho was
Dr.
from like
Hose.
years ago. I remember him
Yeah,
from
but
20
he's
years
still
ago.
around. The TENS machine. It's like the little electrical shock therapy that you do
Dr. Ho?
yourself
No.
because you're stupid. Yeah, it helped. It actually did help. It was great. But I'm finally starting to be able to move it a bit more, and I'm hoping things get better. But aside from that, my little guy continues to not want to sleep, so that's been fun.
Mhm.
We're at the point where we're just putting him to bed, saying goodnight, and then holding the door shut, hoping he'll just give up and go to sleep. I don't know if that's okay or not, but
You know
it's
what?
working.
It's okay.
I've come
Thank
across somebody in my other
Why are you
job.
pointing at me? Oh,
Job.
Oh.
I'm pointing to my computer, but you're
okay.
in that area. And I came across a sleep specialist for
Okay.
kids. So I'm gonna hook you up with that, and let's
I don't
see what
think I
happens.
need that. I think he's just in an asshole stage. It's just that simple. If it continues on more than another week or two, we'll talk. But
All
right
right.
now,
What's
I
his
think
age again?
3.
3. Yeah, I mean it's a
Yeah.
tough age, right? Because they're
Yeah.
mobile and they think they can, the thing is, it's like Ferbering only works well until they can kind of walk and
Yeah.
open the door, right?
Well,
But
yeah, go
but
ahead.
I still recommend looking into that book because there's some tips. Because by the time my kids were that age, we brainwashed them already by then. But I think the book does go into tips and tricks for that age group as well. So I recommend if you don't already have it at home, I just go to the library and pick it up because I think there's some good tips in there for that age group.
Well,
Yeah.
Thank you. I will check that
Jeff
out.
says
The
it's
one-
a whiskey time already. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I keep
No,
laughing like
In
like
all
the-
seriousness, that book saved our, I don't want to say saved our marriage, but it kept us sane because it gave us our life back.
Yeah.
Where we didn't know what to do, right? Because the kids just wouldn't sleep, and everything in that book worked. So
Well, the
definitely
only thing
recommend
I'll say is, I mean, at 3 kids now, I'm really desensitized to nonsense. So when he's like trying to get out of the room, I'm like, yeah, nope, and I don't care. And then I like it was kind of sad. One moment is sad, but he came to the door as I was standing outside, and he tried to open it, and then I heard him kind of cry and then stop and go, and I heard him say, "What is happening?" And he crawled back into
Oh, poor
bed.
kid.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And I was like, I almost burst out laughing. I'm like, that's so cute and observant and
Oh,
aware.
Aaron is asking,
Oh my
what's the book
God.
called, Victor, that you were talking about?
Oh yes, go ahead.
Oh, it's called the Ferber Method.
The Ferber Method. Yes.
Yeah. They use that in the Meet the Parents, isn't it?
When
I don't know.
Or the Falkerizing them.
It's a big, heavy book. You use it to knock them out. You hit them over the head.
No, like I mean, the whole idea, the whole point of the book is to teach them how to sleep on their own.
Yeah,
and
self-soothe
and
things like
doing that in a way where you're not making them think that you're abandoning them.
Mhm.
And that's the key. People who there's some controversy about the book, but everyone that's on the other side, they don't get it.
Yeah.
They're the same ones that will breastfeed their kids till they're 7 years old. You know what I mean? Like these are the whatever. Like I'll speak my mind. Like anybody that
Speak your truth, Victor.
yeah. So they're the kind of the wacko group. Sorry for anybody in the community that's in there, but it is what it is. But the book is great, and all the happy couples in the world have used this method. And
all the happy people.
Yeah.
Adrian says not to be confused with the Fitzbo method, which is I
Well
think
played,
you just
Adrian.
give the kid gay porn and let him go to sleep. While
There you go.
can look at their gay porn.
I know
Well, how's he-
one of our neighbors posted a picture of their kid at literally like wandering through the night at like just out of their bed and then fell asleep on the rocking chair, but not in the way you think. They were like standing with their head on the seat part and their feet were on the floor part. So they were just kind of resting there, and that's where they stayed. That's where they fell asleep.
That's one.
Was just kind of,
Perfect.
they wandered.
Amazing.
All right, my week. Let's see. Yeah, we had a great interview with Ryan McDonald on Tuesday. I got my new sit stand desk, which I'm very excited
Right.
about. Of course, you can't see it, but this desk. I've spent half my day standing at work today. So
Could you if you do it? Could you both be standing right now if you lifted that?
We
thing
could,
up?
yeah.
If you
I mean,
lifted
if
it
this
up.
were
I'm just-
if this
if
were a
you
video
wanted to
podcast, I
show
would
us, you could
hit
totally
the
do
up
it.
button and we would be like in an elevator.
We could start.
It just with this desk,
we'll
you have
go
to be extra
over our
careful.
head. Let's do it, just like for fun. Let's see.
But you have to be extra careful about making
I'm
sure
taking my
we're
wine
pants.
off the ride.
So we're just sitting here. See you guys. Bye.
You're not going to disconnect anything, are you?
I hope not.
And just like that,
This makes for good.
That is
podcast.
hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's not
And this
so
is why
funny
you
if you're
need a
listening.
video podcast.
Yeah, for those listening, it's not doesn't have the same effect.
Oh, I keep.
Hey, look, it's the top of Al's head.
I don't think they're missing the concept of the sit stand. When the desk goes up, you're supposed to go with it.
You're supposed, yeah, and they're still sitting. They're sitting.
We're just
the desk
sitting.
is
We're just
standing.
sitting. Okay,
It
we're
doesn't
back.
count if the desk is standing and you're not.
But
Yes,
then you
it's
wouldn't-
electronic.
But then you wouldn't see the difference.
Aaron asked if it was electronic. Yes, it's electronic. It's a beautiful desk, and I've
When
got,
these first came out, they had cranks, and it
I
took
know.
forever for them to go up.
Yeah,
and
I
down.
didn't get that. No, I won an award at work, and I used the money I got for that award to buy myself a sit stand. So there you go. Oh shit, Al's bald. Yes, we knew that. Thank you, awesome. Fuck. All right.
You
And
shouldn't use award money to buy office equipment. God damn it!
it's
Dick.
not my. They weren't going to get me a sit stand desk. I had to buy my own. Anyway, and I started work yesterday.
Thoughts.
Was it yesterday? Yeah. So, and let me tell you, I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready. Why did I have to go back to work already? It feels like I should have another week's vacation. But anyway, that's all. It's been kind of an uneventful week for me. Victor, how have you been?
I've been great. So I did go back to work, but it's been, not as crazy of a week as typically it is because there's still a lot of people off.
Mhm.
But they're gonna come in hard next week. So what are you gonna do? So to rival that, I decided to take every Friday off in February. So I did that before they have a chance to start booking me in for meetings. So I've got
Good plan.
4 day weeks all through February.
Aren't you afraid of using up? I mean, you probably have like 6 months.
I've
worth
got
of
too much
vacation.
vacation now.
Okay.
I have my.
I wish I
yeah.
had that problem.
Yeah, no, I've
Take
got way
some.
too much. I might struggle to use it all up. So
Mhm.
I might do a couple of more months like that.
Well done.
Yeah. But anyway, so quickly, so Amazon, you heard that they're laying off 18,000 people, which is only 3% of their workforce or something like
That's
that.
crazy.
That's wild.
And I'm thinking, God damn it, because I'm waiting for 2 packages. That
Wait a minute. Never mind those people whose lives have just been
asshole.
like ruined and
Yeah.
stuff.
was
You're worried
so
about.
horrible.
no. This is good. There's gonna be comeuppance here.
Okay.
So I'm waiting for 2 packages I ordered back in November, and I decided to
Wow.
just call today before they lay people off and nobody's there to answer the phones, and to find out what the hell's going on. And both packages basically got lost, and they weren't going to do anything about it until I called to ask.
Oh no.
So they felt really bad, and they immediately inserted the orders,
Oh, okay.
and gave me like altogether $300 credit for my troubles.
Okay.
So then at the end, they ask you to do a survey, and then I did a very nice personal write-up about the agent that helped me out. So hopefully she will not be one of the 18,000 people affected. So hopefully I saved one job.
Saving Amazon
So funny,
workers.
man.
one
Okay, that
at a
had a
time.
good ending.
That was your
Yeah.
circle. That was your loop around.
Yes.
So is it funny? So I couldn't help but laugh last night. So I mentioned in the pre-show I got a USB splitter so I could use my more ports in my computer, and it arrived at 10 o'clock last night at night.
Mhm.
And as it was arriving, I kind of laughed myself. I'm like, this thing cost $9 or whatever. I think I ordered a phone charger at the same time, so I spent $20. And I'm like, I don't think this was ever the vision of when people are like, I need shit delivered to my house that's important. At 10 o'clock at night, there's no way I needed a USB splitter, but I'm utilizing this service.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course you need it.
And
And
I'm-
yeah.
It's like, I don't think this was the original vision.
You're
but
part of the problem.
I am part of the problem.
I'm tr-
That's really what I'm getting at.
I
here.
probably am too. It'd be an interesting conversation to have, to think about what's the cheapest thing you've ordered from like Amazon, just knowing like the logistics that goes through getting stuff shipped to you same day or next day. what is the cheapest thing that probably costs 3 times its worth to get it to your door?
Because I'm a member, so I get the
this.
free delivery shit. So I'm like,
Well,
this is not a good use.
I pay
of
for
delivery.
Prime. I pay for Prime. So if I order that,
See, I'm not. You are always saying to me, it's on Prime. It's not just order. And I'm always trying to like get a grocery cart together. Like it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I've got
That's right.
5
I'm with
things or
you,
10
Tanya.
things. I'm like, now
I
I'll
know.
put the
So
orders.
I'm
through.
with you, Tanya. So I used to have Prime. I canceled it because I didn't think that because they decided to increase their price and I didn't want to be a sheep. And so I said, fuck you. And I didn't feel that there was value in it. So I'm regular member and I now need to spend over $35 to get the free delivery, which I'm totally fine with because when I was on Prime, I specifically did not order things that were like $3 on their own because it just felt wrong.
you're a
felt
better
wrong.
person than I am. And I should probably be
Yeah.
a better person because you're right.
So I
Like,
waited till I accumulated enough stuff where I felt that it was worth that.
Yeah.
I was doing the right thing. So anyway, but I'm not going to judge you.
You're already judging me. That's fine.
I guess I am.
And that's what I'd like
You're
to hear.
always judging.
The folks in the live stream, what is the cheapest object you ordered from Amazon? I'd love to hear it and see if there's anybody who,
As a singular item.
as a singular item.
yeah.
So right now, the thing you got to beat is how much is your splitter, Matt? Was it like
$20?
$9.
$9? So under $10 for.
So, and actually, the best story, and really cool, wasn't Amazon, but I talked to a guy at a Little Caesars Pizza one time about Uber Eats deliveries, and he's like, "I kid you not, we had an order one time for a single can of ginger ale.
Oh, that's
Oh
just
my
wrong.
God.
A single can." He's like, and you got to think of logistics. So the can was like $2 or $3, whatever it was, plus delivery fees, and it was raining, so there was surcharging. He's like, it was probably a $20 can of pop. But because it was raining, the guy figured this was the easiest way to get a can of pop.
Trace
was
says
sick.
phone charger, but those things can be a phone charger cord, but those can be expensive. So like $9.
Especially if it's Apple.
Tobias says many used books way the fuck less than $9. So we're all the problem. $9.99 for a Wi-Fi.
I remember one of my bosses saying that when it first came out that you could order anything from anywhere, and it was the gas station was on there, and she's like, "What the hell are you going to order from a gas station?" And so she did it just to do it and say she
Slurpee.
did, and yeah, it's like bubblegum, whatever, or I think it was a cup of coffee or something that she
What?
had delivered
That's
from the
crazy.
gas. I don't know. It was weird. I'm like, oh, you can go Christmas shopping at the gas station and have it delivered to you.
Yeah. So, but the difference between Uber and Amazon is the fact is that you're not paying extra fees for being a dumbass with Amazon. You're just like, you're getting the $9 item. You're not paying for shipping. You're not paying surcharges. You're not paying except the annual fee. Right. But you're not paying for any of that extra stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas with Uber, at least you're getting it up the bum because you're now
You're accepting that.
you're accepting that, but you're it's not like Uber is being shafted. They're not. They're charging you over the moon for it. So there's a difference there.
All right, we have to get back to the paid content. The live streamers are getting restless. Tanya, how's your week?
Oh my God, it's been so long. Yesterday I thought today was Friday. Tomorrow's Friday. It's just I'm all discombobulated.
Thing.
Yeah, it's just I think it's being the holiday on the weekend, but then the Monday was off. And anyways, we had a great New Year's, like
Yeah, it was
really
good.
great
Yeah,
New
that's
Year's.
right. I forgot about that. That was this
We
weekend,
had
wasn't it?
we had our friends over that we went to Newfoundland with and got into tin together.
They're still our friends. Yeah.
We went and had an all-you-can-eat Japanese restaurant for lunch, which was the best way to do it. We went for like a 2:00 lunch and fed our bellies like crazy.
Oh my
Stayed
God,
there
it
for
was
like
gluttony.
2
It was
hours.
great.
Almost 3 hours. Like it was a long time. We ate and ate and ate, and then we came back, and I absolutely just moved everything out of the living room. And
Oh, I posted some videos.
oh no, did you?
Just on our Discord.
Yeah, I took all the furniture out of the living room, much to Alan's chagrin, and we had games upon games upon games. We just had so many games, and it was minute to win it games. If anyone's ever watched the TV show,
I feel like I'd be really good at that show.
oh man, it was
That's
so
a
much
lot.
fun. It was so much fun. Okay, this is how much fun it was. we had the windows open and
Because the house was getting hot.
the house was getting hot. And then one of the neighbors came over, their family of 4. So we had 2 families of 4. And we were playing and Alan made a bracket and it was like head-to-head games. And
And your fucking
we were
brackets, man.
we were laughing so
fun.
hard and having so much fun. And people outside were like trying to figure out what the heck was going on in our house because we were laughing and making so
There were
much fun.
at least 2 other house parties happening in our neighborhood, but they were all wanting to be at our place because
Oh, it was so great.
whatever they heard, they wanted to be part of. Anyway,
So it was a lot of fun. So so we did that. Back to work. This is my first year that I've had to actually work during the holidays. I know that. I was because of my last job, I had seniority, so I didn't have to work on holidays. Like I would take the whole week off. And this year I did not, so I had to work. So that's kind of a bummer because the kids are off right now. So we're staying up much too late and regretting it the next day. And you started off the show saying something about murder. And I thought it was really comical because we've been playing the last 3 nights Clue. And our daughter is obsessed right now with murders. And she's like doing like there's been a murder and she's like giving us invitations and stuff like that. So it's been creepy yet fun.
yes. Liz, how have you been?
Hi. I'm good. Good, and you?
So I'll just do it myself.
You're just going to show off
Yeah.
your writing partner, Trace, who can never get that right. So well done.
I was waiting.
Yes.
I'm good. I had a good week since I saw you guys last, and it was New Year's, and New Year's Eve is my daughter's birthday.
Oh, wow.
So I have a 15-year-old, and we had sushi. So I had a lot of Japanese food this weekend too, because we had sushi Saturday. I barely stayed up till midnight, and then Sunday, our friends every year they have a traditional Japanese New Year's Day party where they make mochi, and the men do the pounding of the mochi of the rice
Oh, yeah.
flour.
You
and
shared the video of that. And we're like,
Oh, that's so cool.
didn't know what that was, but that's cool.
What's a mochi? Sorry.
mochi. It's like a rice, like rice flour and water. And a lot of times you get it flavored and sweet. Sometimes you get it as ice cream, that kind of thing. But it's plain when we do it. And then, you put it in your soup, and they make a soup, like a brothy kind of soup. And it's like a good luck thing. And then
Cool.
they have a whole sushi buffet, and then we do a toast with sake, and it has a little gold flake in there
Nice.
for good luck. And they do this whole thing, and it's super fun. And I've been sober for a little over a year, but I like took a little tiny sip, and then I stuck my finger in there to get the gold flake. So I did get my gold flake.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
All right.
So I'm going to have a good year.
Good.
Excellent.
Excellent. Here's 2 good years, but it sounds like we could all use a little bit of coffee. So let's see. And I still don't have a new Diabolical coffee ad yet, although I've been given some really great ideas from Trace and Liz, and I can't wait to execute on
It's
some
gold.
of these.
It's
so
gold.
good. But anyway, today we're just going to go with a blast from the past, and I'm thinking maybe this one here.
Hey there, ladies. How are you now? Do you like strong, dark coffee? Well, then you're in luck. Diabolical coffee is being served at the produce stand. It's devilishly good coffee and diabolically awesome swag. There's a roast for all tastes and even some you didn't know you wanted. You can order whole bean, coarse, standard grind, and espresso. Or if you're
Don't
feeling
get the hiccups,
kinky,
Matt.
there's a cake-up option. Use the promo codes Produce Stand for 10% off anything in the store. That's 10% off all
That's
coffee
20%
and
off.
merch.
20%.
So it's time to put the D in your coffee with Diabolical Coffee. And thank you, Diabolical Coffee, for your support.
Yes, thank you, Diabolical Coffee. And thank you to our new Twitter followers, E. Van B, Caroline McIntyre from Bucks County, Pennsylvania, Starlight Faye, Jake from Memphis, Tennessee, Dale Shank, Wiz Graham from Seattle. Do you know Wiz? Liz, no.
Just the Liz.
Aunt Coke from Arkansas. Jimmy, Brian Iverson from north of Seattle. Do you know Brian? Hannah, Candy from Missouri. Angela Rehill. James from Newport, Rhode Island. Francesca from Denver. Tund Lanner. MB from Ontario, Canada. Tom Kephart from Marine City, Michigan. IU Stiffware from Lane, Spain. I don't know. Taryn Harris from BC. Andrea ZC or ZC from Oakland, California. Suzanne from Westerville, Ohio. Rody Joe from Burlington, Kentucky. Moist Lobster. NC Parrot from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Smurfette 420 from Edmonton. John, who's your cult leader? Herb Miller. Sean Nolan. Edward Omubo from Portland Harcourt. Pete Fuller from Georgia. Nicholas Caprilane from Fresno, California. Jay Raymond. Drew Boogie, Ken Zwicky from Hamburg, New York, JJ Straker, Aliska, oh my God, Doku Poliva, something like that.
Nailed it.
MJ1, Stomach Gill, Steve Fernandez from Ohio, Charles Brimmer from Biloxi, Mississippi, Jeff Wennis from Minnesota. Let's go adventure with Lady Fairy. Anthony from New Jersey, Jeremy McClanahan from Oak Harbor, Ohio, Andrew Foster, Rorschachs, and Jeff M. Thank you for following and hopefully for listening.
Previously.
That was
on
tough.
Letterkenny.
It was very tough. Last week, we recapped and reviewed episode 1 of season 11, Chips, that got us a fresh rating from Matt, myself, a clearance from Tanya, and our guest Mike had a clearance from Tanya and our guest Mike, and a compost from Victor. According to our scientific Twitter poll, which had 240 votes, 60.4% of you gave this episode a fresh, 32.9% a clearance, and 6.7% agreed with Victor. This week, we recap and review episode 2 of season 11, Okoya. Matt, have you done your homework?
Yes.
I've done my homework. Victor, have you done your homework?
It has.
And Tanya, when did you do your homework?
It was.
Liz, have you done your homework? Did you? I didn't hear you. Liz?
I did.
You did.
I said
right.
I did.
Okay.
Like
Well,
5
don't bore
times.
us. Get to the chorus.
We open with the Hicks in the
it
farmhouse kitchen. They're talking about motion pictures. Katie's complaining about a particular motion picture stacked to the tits with what she hates. Schoolie Dan asks her to be more specific. Derry wonders if it's this.
Oh, what? Like there's a super intense dramatic scene, and one actor is on the other side of the room screaming their lines at the other actor. And then slowly and gradually, they get closer and closer, speaking more quietly and softly up until they get about nose to nose. And then they deliver their last line, and it's almost a whisper.
Okay, I hate that.
Yeah, and then there's usually some kind of variation on, try me.
Or something like,
Or this ends here.
Yeah, no.
So Wayne wonders if it's this.
or how whenever there's a scene where like a gal kicks a dude's ass, magically the dude just kind of appears out of nowhere and says something like, "Hey, bitch."
Worst.
And then after the gal's done kicking the dude's ass, the gal just shows up and swallows, says something all breathy like, "Who's the bitch now?"
Ugh, sit down.
No one's guessed it yet, so Schoolie Dan takes a shot.
How there's always some kid who doesn't speak any English trying to lead all the English-speaking people away from danger, but all he can say is, here, 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 here.
Enough.
Katie admits she hates all of those things, but there's one thing she hates more than that.
Yep, when every actor takes a sharp inhale before their line for dramatic effect.
What's wrong with that, Katie?
You saying you don't like that?
Kind of feels like you're lobsing a grenade to the whole industry thing.
Don't.
Do you have any idea how often actors use this device for dramatic effect, Katie?
And people don't even speak that way.
Have you ever heard anyone breathe like that before they speak ever in your life? Go ahead, I'll wait.
Now my last nerve ski, boys.
When's it gonna stop, Katie? Whatever happened to less is more, Katie?
Actors need to stop trying so darn hard, Katie.
Not that I got it all my damn self.
Yeah, not that I have it on my damn self, Katie.
Just saying, Katie.
I completely understand why he hates that, Miss Katie.
Fuck off.
Fucking.
Took it too much further.
The Hicks all hiccup uncontrollably. Wayne asks Derry to scare him. His feeble attempt fails, so so does Squirrely Dan's. Then we cut to Wayne in the field.
And you suppose that's what thespians mean by sacrificing for your craft.
And cue the theme. All right, there's your cold open. Matt, what did you think of that cold open?
So, you know, there's something special, man. Like it, I will say that when they hiccuped, I have not laughed out loud that hard at this show in a long time. It was so perfect. So the whole scene I thought was brilliant, to be honest. I thought there's a lot of things that happen in movies, and they're clearly taking shots of them all, and I can see and visualize and be in the moment of every single one of them. I don't think they carried this one on too long, and there's a lot of self-awareness in the fact of how stupid it is at the same time, and that's where the hiccups come in. So I thought it was a very well-rounded one. The only thing I'll say is I was surprised by the here part. I thought that was is that PC? I don't know. It doesn't feel it, but it was brilliant and made me laugh really hard. But
because they're making fun of it in movies, right? Like
absolutely.
Indiana Jones. I bet I'm thinking comes
100%,
to mind.
Yeah, 100%. I know exactly what they're doing there, and it made so sense. I was just surprised that they had the courage to do it. And take a shot at it, and I think it paid off. They set the context of what they were doing, and it like gave them the get out of jail free card to follow it through. So I really, really enjoyed this cold open.
Yeah, it was a fun cold open. I'm glad we're back to cold opens where I can actually clip clips from. Like it's not one of the, last week we had the kind of classic Letterkenny problems kind of back and forth cold open, which is fun. But this at least had a little more to it. And as we're going to see later on in the episode, there's actually quite a lot to this cold open. There's a lot of connection there, and I think we're going to see it throughout the episode. Excuse me. I believe I read earlier today, I think it was Aaron who said that this cold open was part of Letterkenny Live. It was a skit they did during Letterkenny Live, apparently.
Oh, was it?
I don't know for a fact, but I think Aaron mentioned it in the Discord. And since none of us here went to Letterkenny Live, no one can. Adrian's saying yes. So so that makes more sense. So I think it was a fun cold open. I give it kudos. I think it would belong in our bracket.
I want to know then if that was part of the live show. Like, does that like excite people even more that they see it?
Okay, Aaron's clarifying. It was shown as a clip. They didn't do it live. It was shown as a clip.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
I guess it must have been a sneak peek at season 11.
Well, I guess still some people would have that connection to it. So yeah, that's cool.
Victor, what did you think?
So if Matt is standing in the north, then I'm standing in the south because
saw that coming.
We're on complete opposite ends of this. So I also saw what they were doing, and I couldn't be more disinterested in it. I couldn't connect to a single thing that they were exemplifying. I can imagine everything that they were doing in every single Steven Seagal movie. Those types of, types of kind of live action, but kind of live action animations, action hero movies. But it's just, and I get it, but it's still not like, to me, I just didn't find it funny. It was just, I was very disinterested in that cold open. It was very blah for me. And even though
Jeff wants me to do this to you.
Yeah. And I'm going to cut you. And I think what was great about it, I'll let you finish, is knowing what's coming. They set the stage so well of what they were doing in this episode, so it all fits.
Yeah. If you love what's going to transpire after this, I get why you'd be excited about it. For me, that doesn't fix it. It doesn't make it more exciting or more interesting. It was a very flat cold open for me because I wasn't connecting with any of the examples that they were kind of spewing out.
You didn't even chuckle a little bit when they started hiccuping? I thought that was the funniest part.
I didn't chuckle at all. I didn't even
not even at the hiccups, man.
I didn't even get a grin or anything. Nothing.
Oh man, I think we're back to. Are you back at work? That's
no,
right.
I'm giving it. No, well, I am back at work, but no, I wasn't tired. I gave that episode my full attention, and it wasn't funny. What am I going to say?
All right, Tan, what did you think of that cold open?
I'm in between the two. I'm not as down on it as Victor is, but I'm not as excited about it as Matt was. And I did watch it with headphones on, and I gave it my full attention. I thought that only because the whole show then circles back to the cold open. And I love when they do that. I find that it ties everything so nicely, and I like the callback. And it makes the cold open better because they did that. I don't really put a whole lot of, maybe I'm just not that attentive when I watch shows and stuff. So I thought it was interesting, like the whole little quiet, repetitiveness of what movies do, like the whole "try me, don't make me hurt you." This is gonna, that stuff. The dramatic effect, the inhale, the hiccup. It was cute. It didn't make me laugh out loud. I was watching it, but it didn't really do anything much than that.
All right, Liz, what do you think?
I'm kind of with Tanya, where I'm a little bit in the middle of this, and I do think that with the group, like on the Discord and stuff, there's a lot of guys, a lot of people that are really into like the cinema and the movie part of things, and I think that really speaks to them a lot more. I really thought, so what I made a note of here, that I thought it was really funny when Dan says to Katie in the very beginning, that doesn't really narrows it down because everybody is always talking about how mean she is. And, I personally don't think she is, but I just think she's a bad bitch. But, and Derry and Squirrely Dan, the way that they tried to scare Wayne was like the funniest thing to me. And
boogity boogity.
Yeah, and when
What the fuck are
Derry's with Derry, I actually wrote Derry scaring Wayne is the softest scare ever because it was just so funny to me. But people getting the hiccups to me is so funny. Like in real life, I will always laugh at people when they get the hiccups.
Yeah,
it's.
Are you gonna
like,
say it?
Tanya has the loudest, most fucking annoying hiccup in the history of hiccups. Whenever she gets it, I gotta leave the room. It's not funny. It's I gotta leave the room.
It's painful.
Request next time. Can you record it, please?
It's so it's beyond painful, and they're so loud, and they go on forever. Like they never.
Like she hiccups from her diaphragm or something.
Like,
I don't understand how it works, but
next time have Al go boogity boogity boogity.
Nothing
works.
Nothing.
Just got to leave her in a room by herself.
And I have to
drink a beer upside down.
Leave the house because I'll wake up everyone if it happens in the middle of the night. Yeah, they're terrible.
Anyway, we're going to move on. Scene 1, Katie sitting alone in the produce stand when she gets a call. It's Tanis informing Katie that Glenn says they need to get down to the church right away. Katie jumps from her chair and dashes off. Cut 2, Gail at Modine's with Coach sitting at the bar. She gets a text from the same message. Both she and Coach run out of the bar. Then cut to Wayne and Rosie sitting outside at a picnic table playing cribbage. Wayne sitting up, straight up as usual, straight as a board, and carefully hiding his hand with the other hand. Rosie gets the text about Glenn as well, but they just keep playing. Rosie gets a second text, or this time from Tanis, saying that she knew they wouldn't listen to Glenn. So seriously, church now. So Rosie thinks they should go. Wayne reminds Rosie that he's unavailable. Rosie says she should go. Wayne protests. Right when he's about to win. Rosie promises she'll make it up to him. She'll make him boar chops for dinner. That seems to do the trick. Rosie leaves, but Wayne remains seated, grumbling and still hiding his hand as she walks away. Scene 2, down at the church, Glenn is standing at the podium with an exasperated looking Tanis sitting beside him. He thanks everyone for heeding his call. Katie asks him what the rumpus is. Glenn begins to speak in a preachy manner, but Coach cuts him off, says he will not be hoodwinked into attending a religious service. After some more egging on from the others, Glenn finally gets to the point of why he called everyone. He wanted to thank everyone for participating in the bake sale to help raise money for the youth group.
Katie, your muffins...
It's Uncle Eddie's recipe. Guess it still holds up.
Rose, your banana bread left me fit to be tied.
You'd be surprised at how easy it is to make.
Tanis!
Don't yell at me, preacher.
Your bannock blew my mind.
Oh, I know my way around a salle à manger.
She's cute. She means cuisine. Gail! Your tarts worked their way into my hearts and my belly.
Thick skin help.
Coach! No one gave two poops about your fruitcake, which is no surprise at all.
You don't like fruitcake?
Oh, no, me personally, I love a fruitcake.
Oh, you do?
Anyone who knows me at all knows that about me.
Barb loved fruitcake.
Oh, can we not with Barb, please?
Welcome back, Barb.
Glenn's comment seems to have hurt Coach, who says he was hesitant to contribute at all because the Christian youth are dabbling in a little iffy business these days.
Like what?
You ever heard of sulking?
No.
It's when a dude puts his dink in a gal, but doesn't move it.
It's like no thrusting or anything?
No.
But that's good stuff.
Oh, my.
The dude just puts his dink in and stays still. It's a way for them to get around saving their virginity till marriage.
A little troubleshooting there.
So they just say we can't have sex, but we can
soak.
What is the point?
Well, I guess it beats not doing anything at all.
No, it doesn't.
Tanis implores Glenn to get to the point. Glenn says they are here because something horrible has happened. He and his best friend Tanis arrived at the church sometime at 10 a.m. Tanis scoffs at Glenn, referring to her as his best friend. Glenn says they're besties because when he called her, she came right away, and that's something besties do. Tanis says it's because Glenn said there was a fire. Glenn says one little white lie never hurt nobody. Tanis was just relieved that she didn't start it. This gets crickets from the rest of the congregation, but Glenn continues with his story.
We arrived here at around 10 a.m. when I showed my bestie that the till that had all the earnings in it from the bake sale had gone missing. And so I says to my bestie, I says, we must check our purses because we done got robbed. Now, all of you had access to the till, which means that one of you heartless monsters stole from me, Glenn. Your friend, or best friend, depending on whether or not your name is Tanis. So let me remind you. Do not steal from me.
Bravo.
I didn't.
And more importantly, do not steal it from the church, from the Lord himself, and all his Idris's Elba, and from the Lord's youth group, the Burning Bush Club.
Okay, production note here. During this scene, Glenn starts from the podium and gets closer and closer to Coach before whispering, "Do not steal from me," mimicking one of the things that Katie hates in movies from the cold open. So that's one of the first callbacks. Glenn...
Oh, right. I missed that one.
Yeah. Glenn begs for the person who stole from him to confess and then repent. No one fesses up. Glenn wonders out loud, how will he ever find out who hath robbed him? He prays out, "Lord, send me some help." Cue Stewart and Rold, who enter the church. First, Rold enters with a little boombox saying, "Here, here," mimicking Squirrely Dan's example from the cold open of the child who doesn't speak English but asks people to follow him. So there's the other callback. Rold motions over to the other entrance where Stewart ambles in wearing a beige trench coat, black hat, although not his usual bowler hat, one with a wider brim, and black leather gloves. He looks like a cross between Columbo and Van Helsing, although the Van Helsing could just be because of his long hair. He's also walking with a cane and a pronounced limp, at a twirly mustache and about 100 pounds, and he could be the famous Agatha Christie detective Hercule Poirot.
Hercule Poirot.
Yeah, so Rold holds up the boombox and presses play on some stormy sound effects for Stewart's entrance. Tanis ignores the spectacle, asks Katie and Rosie where Wayne and Squirrely Dan are. Katie says she ordered some furniture from Okoya, and it's being delivered today, so you know how much they love that shit. In production note, I looked up Okoya, and the only thing I could find is the R of Lagos, Razak Okoya. So in this case, it's probably just because it sounds like IKEA that they use the word, and there's no other deeper meaning in it. Next scene, a van pulls into the farmhouse laneway, and a Okoya logo can be seen on the front hood and side panel. A couple of guys step out of the van. They're wearing Okoya shirts. They greet Wayne and Squirrely Dan, who are sitting on the back porch smoking darts, faces obscured by the railing. The two Okoya delivery guys stand before Wayne and Squirrely Dan as if they're on trial.
Got the times?
Nope.
Shockers.
Sorry?
Now, you say be available between the hours of 1 and 4 in the afternoon to sign for delivery. So what time's it now?
4:45?
4:48.
We just follow the schedule.
All right, so delivery's $75. The attitude extra? Or?
Katie said she was ordering some Swedish furniture. Didn't say nothing about no fucking lips.
How about the lip on this one?
Who knew Swedes were so fucking lippy?
Did you have somewhere to be?
I've had about enough of the lip.
You Swedes may be good at fucking meatballs, but you got a lot to learn about fucking being on times.
What's your name?
Jens?
What?
Jens.
What is there, two of you?
That's got to be the most Swedish fucking name I ever heard.
I'm actually Dutch.
Well, don't say that too loud around here.
Well, what's your name?
Gunner.
Well, what's your real name?
Gunner.
Yeah, but what's your real name?
Gunner.
Fuck around.
You're already late. Don't get fucking smart.
Might be careful. A nickname like that just might stick.
Getting lipped off by a couple of fucking Swedes.
I've had about enough of the lip.
Squid says, by the looks of the two of them, he can understand why Katie ordered from them. Wayne says he's not sure their shirts can get any tighter, but he bet the farm they'd give it a shot. Jens finally speaks up, saying they've got one dresser and 2 bedside tables. He asks where they want them assembled. Wayne replies, right there. This surprises Jens. Squid says they can set it up right there, and they'll tell him what kind of job they're fucking doing. Jens asks them where they want the furniture carried after. It'll take 30 seconds. Wayne thinks they'll bounce the furniture off 30 fucking walls. Jens gives in. The customer's always right. This gets a pitter-patter from Squirrely Dan. Next scene, back at the church, Glenn asks Stewart what they're doing there. Stewart does a dramatic inhale, another of Katie's pet peeves from the cold open. Stewart ignores Katie, says he's there because he knows who did it. Glenn asks him how he could possibly know anything. He refused to participate in the bake sale. Stewart said he offered his brownies. Glenn said he doesn't care if it's legal. Stewart will not sell drugs in his church. Stewart says weed's not a drug. The coach interrupts with the following non sequitur.
I don't dance the de facto butt stuff fella in these
Hey,
parts.
I like a 1 and a 2.
I said fella. But butt stuff's pretty popular with the Christian youth.
Shocker.
That too.
Basically anything that doesn't involve penile vaginal penetration.
Well, another way to protect their virginities. Little life hack.
So they say we can't have vaginal intercourse, but we can...
Fired up the pooper.
Really?
Dance like nobody's watching.
To each his or her own.
Glenn tries to get the conversation back on track. He asks Stewart to explain himself in front of God and his son Jesus in all his Idris's albas. This sends the skids into a literal hissing fit. Holy crap. When he finally composes himself, Stewart says he grew up reading all of the classics of Lord Agatha Christie. Glenn doesn't think this is how that works. Stewart ignores him, says he can sniff out a murder plot a mile away. Glenn corrects him. No one was murdered. Stewart says, irregardless, allow him to walk through a scenario. He asks what brought all of these strange, disparate people together today. Why these people and why here? Glenn reiterates he was having a bake sale. Stewart thinks it's a likely story and begins with his first hypotheses, dramatized in black and white, aided by rolled in his boombox full of thunderstorm effects.
No one likes Glenn, and no one supports his church.
Stewart, you know I can still hear you, right?
I posit this. Because no one really wanted to help Glenn, or his god, or any of his Idris's Alba, everyone pretended to put their profits in the till, but instead pocketed the money and kept it for themselves. There was no money to be stolen because everyone kept their own profits. Therefore, the murderer is everyone.
Glenn reminds Stewart that no one was murdered, but then asks if if he was correct. Rosie says Stewart just reiterated the plot of the Agatha Christie novel Murder on the Orient Express. Tanis loved the book and movie. They all start raving about the movie, giving Michelle Pfeiffer multiple U's. Production note, Agatha Christie, in case anybody needs to know, was an English writer known for her 66 detective novels and 14 short story collections. She had two main protagonists, Hercule Poirot and Miss Marple. She's considered the world's best-selling author of all time, behind only the Bible and Shakespeare. So Glenn asks them if they're admitting to robbing him. All at the same time, Tanis assures him that that is not the case. Stewart interrupts. He did not say that's what happened. He posited that that's how it could have happened, but it didn't. Inhaling sharply again, to Katie's annoyance, he has another scenario. Rolled, hits the boombox. But first, we go over to the farmhouse in scene 5. The Okoya guys ask Wayne and Squilly Dan if they have a stud finder. Squilly Dan says he doesn't believe it's any of their fucking business. Undeterred, Jens continues to say that Okoya suggests fastening the dresser to the wall to prevent it from tipping.
He's got the studs finders?
Yeah. Well, fucking point it over here. I'll tell you if it's working.
Everybody's got a stud finder joke.
I don't remember asking how not to tip stuffs.
Did you want the stud finder or not?
Well, fucking don't need one. I already found him.
Yeah, that's worries about that. You just worries about righty-tighties, lefties-loosies.
Oh, you're getting some nice furniture here.
I can see from here the hardware strip from screwing it in once. So tells me again what we're getting here?
Another Allen key in the fucking junk drawer.
People seem to like it.
You know what else people seem to like? Boy bands. This silly Swedish furniture is like boy bands. It's hot for a second, sure. It's only a matter of time before you're a joke.
Squiddan goes back to making fun of their tight shirts and also warns them that tight pants kill sperms. Jen says he doesn't want kids. Wayne fucking bets they don't want him either. So
that's harsh.
It's a harsh line. Scene 6, back at the church. Katie asks Glenn what the youth group needs the money for. She's been to youth group and all they got is refreshments. No more than $20 worth, more like $15 if you're cutting coupons. So where does the rest of it go? Tanis says, ask the Vatican. Katie says she knows when she buys Girl Guide or Boy Scout cookies, she's sending kids camping and whatnot. Or when a GI Jehovah comes to their door, the money's going to canceling Christmas and whatnot. But they don't go camping and they love Christmas. Glenn responds, has Katie seen the price of Freshie these days? Stewart says they can get all the Freshie they want on the dark web. Production note, Freshie is a Canadian fast casual restaurant serving up burritos, wraps, soups, salads, etc. In case you
Thank you for answering one of my questions.
Yes,
It's mostly salads. I mean, their bread and butter is their.
I've never ordered a salad from
$14
salads. I always get their bowls. They're
Burritos,
It's just basically salad with rice.
Fresh stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Anyway, Stewart points his cane at Coach, citing he's an emotional basket case. Coach was unaware he felt that way. Stewart continues by stating Coach has never recovered from the death of his wife. Coach says, Barb? And everyone groans. They all know her name. But come to think of it, Glenn doesn't know Coach's name. But before we can get an answer to that question, Stewart interrupts with another scenario.
Coach, you're the angriest man we all know. And then no one bought any of your fruitcake. That might be enough to push a man over the edge. That might be enough to drive a man to murder.
The black and white dramatic reenactment shows Coach laughing maniacally while opening the cash box. Snapping back to reality, Glenn once again reminds Stewart that no one was murdered. Rosie is confused. Is this supposed to be another Agatha Christie book? She doesn't recognize the plot. Stewart says it's Death on the Nile. Rosie disagrees.
Death on the Nile is about the poor couple that kills the rich girl to take her money.
Hastily simplified, but yes.
Stuart, your Coach theory is nothing like Death on the Nile.
It is a very close approximation.
It's not.
Can confirm.
Coach! What say you?
I didn't do that.
What a defense! What a defense! What a defense! What a defense!
I was actually quite happy no one bought the fruitcake because I found that in the pantry and I don't even know how long it's been there.
Coach.
Coach goes on to admit that it's much darker than that. A few months ago,
didn't do that.
He started hitting the bottle pretty hard. Tanis interrupts out of boredom. Anywho, Rosie doesn't think Coach did it. Stewart didn't say that Coach did it. He posited. It was only a posit, and he'd like to posit one last time. Cut back to the farmhouse. The Okoya guys are finished in assembly. Squilly Dan asks for the time. Gunner responds with time to get a watch. Wayne warns him not to get lippy. It's 6 o'clock. Jens asks the Hicks that they're sure they don't want them to take the furniture up to the bedroom. Wayne asks who said anything about the bedroom. Well, they're bedside tables. Wayne says it's just another name, Jennifer. Squilly Dan adds they could just as easily be end tables. Jens asks if they're sure they don't want help bringing the furniture in. Wayne is sure. So they get up, approach the delivery guys. Wayne gives them each a tip. Jens is surprised. He didn't think they were getting a tip. Wayne offers them another tip. Be on time. The Okoya guys start laughing, but immediately stop when they see Wayne wasn't joking. The Okoya guys leave. Wayne appears to begin to reinforce the furniture with real screws. Scene 8. Back at the church, the discussion has devolved into everyone shouting at each other. Stewart finally breaks it up. He takes another dramatic inhale. Katie warns him that's the last time he does that. Roald puts the boombox down and calls over to Katie, calling her a bitch. Katie gets up and socks Roald in the stomach. Roald goes down like a sack of potatoes. Katie says, "Who's the bitch now?" thereby completing the last of the movie pet peeves from the cold open. And with a pat on the butt from Rosie, Katie returns to her pew. Stewart says he was getting the hiccups anyway. He asks if they allow one last theory because this theory is the truth. Roald jumps back up with the boombox.
I was hurt, nay, offended, when Glenn rejected my offer of baked goods.
Good one, Stu.
Roald. So after everyone had packed up and left the church, I snuck back in and stole the money myself.
The black and white reenactment shows Stewart picking the cash box up and laughing maniacally. Roald gasps. Why would he do all this if he was the guilty one?
To see if I could get away with it. And I did. Curtain!
Curtain couldn't come soon enough.
Wait just a minute. Curtain. That's the name of the last Hercule Poirot book. The one where the detective himself commits the murder and then kills himself at the end.
Exactly.
Ooh, are you gonna kill yourself now, Stewart?
More be looking at Coach for that.
Harsh. Lots of harsh lines in this one. Glenn says that as a man of the cloth, he cannot condone suicide, although he does recommend that Stewart repents for what he's done. He hisses at Stewart, who hisses back, but then hands Glenn the cash box, which was in his trench coat the entire time. Stewart tosses his cane at Roald and walks off, limp-free. Glenn returns to the pulpit with the cash box. Tennis asks him how much was in there. Glenn says, well, if it's all there, and he certainly hopes it is, then they will have collected just shy of $30. The money is all there. Very excited. The others were not impressed with having to listen to Stewart talk for what felt like 2 fiscal weeks over $30. Glenn corrects them. Just shy of $30.
And curtain.
I'd have a beer.
You're going so soon?
I owe my Hickabore chop supper.
Ooh, salt and pepper.
You got it, girl.
Tell Boo I said what's up.
You got it, girl.
But wait, we just reacquired all this money, and what on earth am I going to do with it all?
Ask the Vatican.
You know, again, this is not a Catholic church.
Okay, in the future, I would pay $50 to not have to listen to Stewart speak.
Oof, amen to that.
I love how Rosie refers to Wayne as her hick. Glenn thanks his bestie for everything she's done that day. Tanis is unamused. Coach turns to Gail, asks her what docking is. Gail says they can't do it, but offers Coach a soak. Glenn yells out, not in his pews. Final scene. Rosie joins Wayne on the porch. Wayne is at the barbecue.
How are you now?
Good, and you?
Well, know what? I'm just going to come right out and say it. I'm half cat.
I'll catch up.
Good enough.
What smells like boar chops?
No, might be boar chops.
Might it?
Or it mightn't.
I thought we established that I owe you one.
Well, you like boar chops, right?
Love boar chops.
Well, I made you boar chops, Rosie.
Guess I'll have to make up for it after.
Good.
You can wait a couple hours, right?
And we fade to black. All right. Sorry, that was a lengthy one there, but there's a lot in this episode. So, Matt, you're up first, bud. Initial reaction, no ratings.
It's a good one, man. So one quick observation before I get into anything is this one, interestingly, I noticed everyone was paired off. That's right. So you've got Wayne and Dan, Glenn and Tanis, Stewart and Roald, Coach and Gail, Katie and Rosie, and Jens and Gunnar. Right. Very specifically. So they're all like, often there's multiple going on, but this one was very much intentional. It was all
Who's
done.
with Coach?
What?
Who's with Coach?
Gail.
Yeah.
Gail,
Coach.
Gail,
Oh, okay,
Gail,
all
Coach.
right.
Yeah, everyone, if you notice, that even the way they sat, where they were positioned, it was all done in pairs. Felt very intentional. So every unit, everyone was like a unit.
It could have been
together.
a COVID thing, right?
I was thinking that too. The other,
yeah.
and that supports my next thought, is I've noticed in episodes, and I'm trying to think back to, because they shot 10 and 11 together,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
So I can't remember 10 as well, but I've noticed in 11 so far, even the scene selections are very minimal. So look at episode 1, there was really only 2 locations that they dealt with, and they were hard stuck to those 2. Same with this one. There seems to be 2 locations they're stuck to, and they're really hard to them. So I agree. I feel like there's some COVID influence over it, but
possible,
I think it worked, and I thought it was fun. So I treated this episode,
But
everyone,
Rosie and Wayne were also then together.
at the beginning, yeah, and at the end they were paired off as well.
I mean,
They were
that
in
scene
pairs.
could have been and probably was shot another day, like days later, right? Because
Interesting.
they probably shoot everything, all the church scenes in one day, all the farm scenes of all 6 episodes, or if they're doing 2 seasons, maybe all 12 episodes from the 2
Interesting.
seasons
You're very
in a few
observant.
days. Yeah.
You're very observant.
Well,
that one really stood out to me, especially in the church scene, how they were all spread out throughout the church, very much in pairs. And then as such, I didn't think of any character as a single person in this. They were all units. Like, so the way Gail
Riley and Jonesy.
Yeah, exactly. They're all their
yeah.
own independent Riley and Jonesies. You got it. So I watched the episode from that perspective, and it brought a whole other level of humor and entertainment to the piece. So I really like that. The church scene, I thought it was great. This really was a celebration of, I'll say, film and literature all at once. Literature? Yeah, literature all at once. I'm not a reader. I know who Agatha Christie is. I now feel like maybe I need to read to see some of what
just
they're
watch the
talking about here.
movies.
Or I'll watch the movies because I know they all exist. So I'll do that. But I liked what they were doing. I liked the black and white scenes. I thought they were very playful in this one. This one really was them just having fun, trying some different techniques and really seeing how they landed. And I think it worked out really well. The Okoya scenes. I'm going to say this statement. I think that whole bit is one of my favorite bits across the entire series.
Wow.
It just killed me. Right. I thought the way that Jens and Gunnar just kind of stuck to their customer service mentality and held their guns regardless of the bashing and the shit that was coming their way was really a smart choice in this. I liked.
Are you going to use that in one of your presentations with your crew? With your work, for your work. This is how to give good customer service.
Oh,
even with assholes.
They just held it together so well and didn't let anything rattle them. It's like it's been a long day because clearly they're the last one on their list, right? And they just want to get this shit done. And just everything about that whole scene, with Dan and Wayne coming at them, making them set it up in front of them while they monitor them. Just the quick shots, all the plays off Jennifer and multiple Jens, and then there's 2 of them. Like, I thought was so smart, right down to the very end when they walk down with the tools and like, well, how are we gonna fucking fix this shit? Like, I thought it was brilliant because we've all been there. We know what's going on. We all know IKEA furniture. I've got a ton of it, and I had the same frustrations. I just thought it was a really fun way to do this and have those 2. No one else in this show could have been put in that situation and delivered it the same way. It had to be Wayne and Dan, because of who they are, and they're clearly just waiting for it for Katie or whatever. And it just absolutely killed me. Which then plays my next thought about the physical humor, and that's been strong in both episodes so far. So last episode and this one as well, the physical humor in these 2 episodes has been so on point. This one, the highlight for sure is the dynamic between Gail and Coach, and the way they articulated the soaking and the docking and all. Like, it was, you couldn't look away from that train wreck, and I fucking loved it. So, some really strong stuff here. Did I love every moment? No, but I think this was a very, very strong episode. And I'll make one final comment before I pass off for the next run. I'll take the cold open, which again I was really excited about, and the whole hiccups part and the awareness. I compare that to the Bonnie McMurray in the last episode, where there was an awareness of how ridiculous the episode was, where she came out at the end and said, "What the actual fuck?" So it was that kind of shocker moment to end that scene.
Shocker, really?
Yeah,
Shocker.
yeah, it's purposeful. It's all by design.
Victor is like,
but I just love it. I know
shaking his
Victor's hating me right now.
Oh, man,
and
he's like-
this is why we're so great together, Victor.
Oh,
we're,
the-
we're BFFs, and
he's,
you know it.
he's assembling the spatula. He can't assemble it fast
Can't even
enough.
get it together.
It's his mega spatula is coming out to
that's
play
funny.
tonight. But don't worry, buddy. You can let that one soak for a bit.
Oh.
Oh man. Okay. Is that all I have for now?
I'm good.
All right. Let's see here. It was an interesting episode. I enjoyed it. Very different feeling episode. There's a lot of different things that they did in this episode. The pairing off, I kind of noticed that too. Tana's sitting. I can't remember when she had her baby, but she may have been pregnant still. That's why she was sitting, because it was a strange thing to have, a strange decision to have her sitting beside Glenn at the podium, at the pulpit. Like that was, why would she be sitting?
But if I recall, her baby was already born. Is that what you're saying?
Was he? I don't remember.
She posted something right after it released, which looked like it was in the church scene where she had her kid with her.
Okay, so maybe she was hiding some baby weight.
She sat in the waiting room,
or who knows? Like anyway, she did. You're right. So seasons 10 and 11. I mean, there's a lot of interesting choices, and some of them were probably by out of necessity because of COVID restrictions, but also Tanis because she was either pregnant or just had the baby. It was just kind of strange to have her sitting when Glenn was standing the whole time, or why wasn't she sitting at the pews? Again, the whole pairing people off because of COVID makes make more sense.
Just because you keep repeating it doesn't make it factual. That's just
no, it doesn't. We're positing here, Victor.
Okay,
we're positing.
All right.
But it does. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to have her where she was.
It totally makes. It could have been an artistic decision. I'm not disagreeing with your theory. I'm just not saying that. Like, don't be too quick to just assume that that's what it was.
It just seemed weird, and it seemed out of place. Anyway, very different look and feel. The black and white scenes, the use of music, the quick pans and zooms, like just a very differently shot episode. I think they're having a lot of fun with this one because it is kind of mimicking a genre, and like the whole black and white scenes and the use of music. I mean, Letterkenny's so known for their music, but it's usually like, either edgier like rock or hip hop. In this episode, there's only one song right at the end, the Enya song by Age of Electric. All the other stuff was kind of like music to mimic the genre that they're trying to pull off there. The whole
have they flipped over to black and white before?
I don't remember ever seeing black and white. So
I don't.
There's a lot of different things happening here, which I appreciate.
It's score music is what they were.
Yeah,
doing.
they were using score music as opposed to using like songs but so
They're really playful in this episode.
they're playful. There's a lot of harshness. Like I thought the way Wayne and Squirrely Dan were treating the Okoya guys seemed a little out of character, seemed a little harsh. I mean, at the end, Wayne still tipped them and stuff. So I get it. Wayne's very much into punctuality and all that stuff, but it also seemed like these are guys who are just like doing their jobs, and Wayne, I don't know. That seemed kind of weird. They were really harsh on Coach in the church. For a pastor, he's not giving Coach much empathy. I mean, it was just but still a lot of fun. Like Coach is one of my favorite parts of this episode. I think he was hilarious. Again, he's maximizing his new physical attributes and giving way more physical humor than he used to.
Just how he sits everywhere. It's so intentional.
Yeah. He's really funny that way. I thought Stewart chewed up the scenery so much in this episode. I think this is a strong Stewart episode. So overall, and I think I saw somebody say they can't remember the last time Wayne was in the B storyline. It's been a while. And in this case, he and Swirly Dan were in the B storyline, and no Derry. Where was Derry? So that was kind of an interesting omission there. Maybe they didn't need him for the Okoya scenes. Who knows? But anyway, those are kind of my initial thoughts. Victor?
His test was inconclusive that day.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Victor?
Yeah, I mean, again, like everything Matt was saying, I'm thinking the exact opposite.
At least we're consistent.
Yeah, I mean, Al, you were kind of fumbling all over the place, but Matt, like you're like, I'm a complete opposite to what you were saying. Like I let's go with the Okoya stuff first. First of all, I agree. It was unnecessarily harsh. It was bullying to the point of just bullying. It's like I enjoy when the Jehovah's Witnesses show up at the door, and I like to have fun with them. But this is different, right? Like this is, and the thing that didn't make sense to me is why would Katie pay extra for the delivery guys to assemble furniture when you've got Wayne and other guys at home that can totally do that for you? And by the way, Katie probably can do that just as well as the guys. So why would you pay for assembling furniture? That didn't make any sense to me at all.
That's the most fun part of that shit. Is
yeah. Like anybody that pays to assemble IKEA furniture, as far as
Go
I'm
buy
concerned,
other furniture that's put together already.
Just go on Kijiji and buy something that's already assembled. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh, I love that.
And the thing, and the other thing about IKEA furniture that didn't make any sense. The furniture itself is fine. The problem with it is that because it's so shit, you only have one chance to get it right. So if you're not paying attention and you assemble a piece the wrong way, you're fucked because now the screws are stripped once you try to undo them. I get that. But anybody that assembles IKEA furniture knows that and does it the right way. And if you don't do it the right way, then you deserve the shit that you're left with. So
wow.
So the thing is, they were way too harsh on these guys. And I didn't get the whole tight shirts. Like the shirts weren't tight, the pants weren't tight. I didn't get that at all. So that whole scene, I didn't find it funny. I just thought it was abusive. And like the guys only showed up 45 minutes late. I would have taken advantage at 4:00, called IKEA and said, can I please get my $75 back? Because you guys did not break the window. I just ruined my whole day waiting for you idiots, and you didn't show up. So please give me a credit of $75, and I'll be on my way. And just drop it off. I'll assemble it myself and go home. So I didn't like that stuff at all. It just didn't make any sense for many, many reasons. Back at the church, I agree 100% that they took some creative liberties here and certainly did things differently. And I give full credits on that. They did that super well. But if you take a step back, it's basically continuation of episode 1, where they're just continuing to do these standalone vignette episodes, and we're still waiting for the season to start. So far, I'm still waiting for the season to start. We had two specialty episodes, and we're still waiting to find out what season 11 is going to be about. And I think we basically are. I predict, and for you degens that have gone ahead and watched everything already, you already know, but I don't. And I predict that we're just going to get 4 more episodes of these standalone vignettes that don't tie together in any kind of way.
Hold on, Victor.
Yes.
Like, so they didn't. So what do you mean by the season to start? Do you mean some kind of a follow along story that we can go with? Because going back to the early couple seasons, it was very much every episode was, for the most part, standalone. There might have been one little nugget of story, but it was basically standalone. It wasn't until about
a
4
thread.
or 5.
There's been at least a thread.
But
Matt.
You could miss it, and you really wouldn't be missing much.
You could.
It wasn't until season about 4 or 5, maybe even 6, where they really started to try the storyline.
Okay, Matt. Okay. All I'm saying is, if you go back even to season 1, you will find some semblance of some connective tissue.
And that I don't like agreeing with you, Victor, on some things, but I disagree on this one because there is a vignette, there is a thread. The thread is when Gail references that she made tarts with Dickskin.
Yeah, she meant. Yeah, that's the only time we get any kind of callback.
Yeah, that's really like
that's a thread, dude.
Yeah,
it's a thread.
Right.
It's a thread.
Because we do have Glenn back in the church. Like, why does he back in church? I mean, there's the callback to the youth group. I mean, there are callbacks, but
fine. I'm sure there's callbacks in like other kind of seasonal specialty episodes. But all I'm saying is, I think that basically this season is going to be a season of these standalone stage-like vignettes that are not actually where it's not a season. It's just a collection of episodes, and that's fine. I mean, if that's what it's going to be for the rest of the season, I guess that's cool. My trouble is that through the entire episode, this last episode, I just didn't find it humorous. Like at no point was I laughing or just thinking this is really clever and funny and stuff like that.
All right,
but we'll unpack more as we
YYZ Gord says maybe we need Victor to review Seinfeld and complain about how every episode doesn't build on a story. So there's that.
Seinfeld builds on. Are you kidding me? First of all, I mean, like we can argue about a whole show about Seinfeld, but if one thing that Seinfeld does is that it completely builds. There's complete thread through episodes.
The only thing I'll say, Victor, there is that you do the okay, Victor, okay part. You do that very well.
Thank you.
All right,
and you did say one really, really important word or two words. I'm not sure that did resonate, and I agree with. I believe you said train wreck.
Who said train wreck? I didn't say
Matt
train
did.
wreck. Oh,
Matt said train
Did I
wreck.
say that?
Yes.
I don't remember. Maybe he said train and then 10 sentences later.
No, he said it. You can listen back. He said train wreck.
All right, Tanya, what did you think of this episode?
I think the podcast episode is quite entertaining. What hasn't been said yet? Everything's been said. I have in my notes here, I miss Derry. He was dropped out after the table session at the cold open, and then he disappeared. I think it would have been fun to have him and Wayne and Squirrely Dan sitting on the back of the porch and ripping apart the Okonowa. What?
Okoya.
Kontowa. Throw some.
I think you
there.
just swore at Liz. So watch what you say.
I apologize.
Wasn't that the name of the movie with that hippo-like animal on Netflix?
I don't know.
It's not a thing.
No, it's not a thing. Yeah, move on.
Question. So where was Wayne and Derry coming down after the install with screws in the end?
Yeah,
So,
Wayne started reassembling, or not assembling, but reinforcing the furniture with actual screws, I think.
And that didn't make sense either, by the way.
I kind of then have to agree with our friend Victor here. Like, why then did they pay the $75 to have the install? Like,
well, they probably didn't. I think Katie
did.
Katie did. But and she probably would have been there to watch the tight-shirted men put it together.
That would make more sense.
Had Glenn not called her to this emergency church meeting. That's the way I'm. Yeah.
Well, then that
except
makes
for
more sense.
when Rosie and him were talking in the beginning, he said that he was unavailable.
Yeah, so
you
he
would
was.
assume
Well,
because
I think
he's supposed to be waiting for the furniture.
I think he was planning on being there because I think.
Or do you think it was just a joke? Was it just a joke at Wayne? Like, Katie did this just to watch him.
Maybe
squirm.
It could be that. The way I see it is
funny too,
Wayne, because they said how much Wayne loves or hates or what is. They make some kind of throwaway comment. So I figure even if Katie were there to watch, Wayne was going to be there to judge and to make sure that they don't get ripped off or something, or they do a good job, right?
They got ripped off just for the part about paying for the assembly.
I mean, Victor, I agree with you there. I wouldn't pay for IKEA to assemble my furniture either, unless it's like a really big, complicated job where it's like a chore, like doing like a whole cabinet set or something. That's too much. I wouldn't want to have to do that.
I've done that.
Yeah. Well,
We've done so many, so many.
Anyway, go ahead.
There were two parts, right? There was the Glen Church with Stewart enrolled, and then there was the install of the furniture with Wayne and Squirrely Dan. There was a lot of funny parts, like we don't know Coach's name. Coach,
I was so upset at Stewart for interrupting that. I was like, yes, Coach's name. What is it? And then
I like and I miss, again, I'm not very good with capturing everything that's happening. I missed though until you said, Glenn's whisper and how he starts from the back, and everything was related back to the cold open. Like I caught some of the things, but some of the things, like when Roald first pops out and he's like, here, and I'm like, is that like the plane? Like that's where my head went. I was like, why is he referencing that? And of course I completely and utterly missed the cold open. Tanis and Glenn, Glenn, that's his new bestie. I thought that was comical. The hissing, oh my God, when Roald and Stewart and Glenn and Glenn's in the middle and the hissing back and forth with each other, I thought it was fun. The black and white, which we've already touched upon. I don't remember them doing that before. I kind of like the idea now too that the whole Katie hiring the installers to be there and sit there and kind of watch them. That makes way more sense to me.
Yeah, and I mean Wayne makes the comment. Now I know why Katie hired you guys to do this, because holy, your shirts are tight, right? But and okay, Victor, you're right. They weren't that tight, but whatever. It's
and the pants weren't that tight, because there was a reference to their pants and their sperm. And
nothing was
kids.
tight.
And I'm like, wait a second, I don't really see some tight pants, because I'd be on that. And I didn't see it. So yeah, there's definitely holes in the storyline, but again, it's comedy, and I don't think it's supposed to be necessarily tight and that kind of
like a toiga. No.
And again, Victor, I think we've talked about this, time and time again, that there is no very, very thin threads from one story to another. They don't really, and again, the way we ended the last season, there was nothing to pick up on. Like the story kind of ended with, what are we laughing at? The story,
some of the comments on the
story kind of ended with Shoresy leaving, right? That was the story.
Yeah.
There was nothing to really relate back to or reference back to. So yeah, that's my
Liz.
Well, all my notes you guys just said, so that kind of just blows like everything I have.
Should I let the guest go first?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's very
You
rude.
figured that
not
out
to.
in 7 seasons.
I know. I figured that
Thanks for figuring that out on my episode.
No, expand and tell us who is right in your opinion, who is wrong.
I will tell you that I feel a little disappointed that I felt kind of excited when I heard the title of this episode and that what it actually was, that Okoya was supposed to be just IKEA. Like it felt really disappointing to me that that's what it was. Yeah. I did feel like Wayne and Dan were being really mean to those guys. And I don't know if it's just because I'm a big softie all the time and I'm never that mean to anybody, unless they deserve it. And sure, but these guys were just doing a job. They're just blue collar guys doing a job. They're following a schedule. They probably had some shit going on earlier in the day that caused them to get behind. Maybe they could have called and said, hey, we're going to be late. But like, how often does that happen? It only redeemed itself because the guys were really funny. The delivery guys, I think, were really funny about it. Like the one when he's like, everybody's got a stud finder joke, because it's really true. So everybody's got a stud finder joke. And, but otherwise, I thought it was way too harsh, there. But I loved everything about the church scenes. I like all of that, the music, the black and white, when Stewart was positing his scenarios and how all the ladies looked really evil when they were like in the first one, and they were like, like they were stealing the money and that kind of thing. I really liked that. I really liked how it seemed like a real mystery movie, like a kind of an old-fashioned type of mystery movie. I thought that was really fun. I did think that Coach and Gail are just so hilarious together, and them sitting together. Oh, I do have to say, I didn't even realize that was Coach in the beginning when they first got the call and his back was to the camera. And Gail gets the call. I didn't even know it was him. He's so skinny now.
I know.
Like, you can't even tell.
Yeah, he goes to the gym. Yeah.
I'm happy for his health. but I do like
He's-
the chubbier coach better.
Oh, Victor.
He was angrier then too. That
Normally
when was the last time
chubby-
you heard him.
Normally chubbier is funnier, but I gotta say this skinny coach, he does really well with his physical humor now.
Yeah, I'm happy
and
for
he's
him,
a
but
lot more.
he was funnier before.
Yeah, and that's not fucking embarrassing. So, but I kind of miss that coach, the trash can kicking
Right.
coach. So
Now he's just kind of a pathetic, sad figure, and yeah.
that was actually something that I didn't like. Their comments basically alluding to suicide and how we'd think that it would be coach. I didn't appreciate that. I feel like that was really out of character for them to even write it. Because they're
Good
usually
point.
very PC about everything. And then also the here, I felt oddly offended by.
Yeah.
I mean, as an Asian person,
Yeah.
I felt that it was kind of a dig to those old movies where that does
100%.
happen. But I was kind of like, okay. Yeah, I couldn't really put my finger on it, but that has to be why. But I was just like, I can't. There was a lot of things I felt like in this episode that they kind of went a little further than they normally do because they usually are so careful about. Well, I don't think that's PC, but you said it. Kind of comments and so many of the other.
But
episodes.
I think so. I mean, I don't want to. Well, I'll defend them a bit in that what they were talking about in that instance is things they hate in movies, right? So just like back in the race or the homophobic show that Wayne loves watching, they're not endorsing the show. They're full out saying the show is a horrible show, but it's his comfort show. Same thing here. They hate when movies do that or did that because they don't do that anymore. But they're making fun of it. But yeah, them voicing.
I mean, that's
it.
a good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. And I don't know if I thought about it that way because I just saw that and I was just like,
They're still giving it airplay. They're still giving it airplay.
Yeah, but
They're
okay,
still
there's
using
a
it
difference
to
though
get
between
laughs.
endorsing something and making fun of it and mocking it for being wrong. And I think that's what they were doing. They were mocking it for being wrong.
I don't
So-
know. It's just like the Tropic Thunder, where people are, giving Robert Downey Jr. a pass for basically doing blackface in that movie because they were pointing out how wrong it is
Yeah.
to do it. But at the end of the day, they still did it. Like it's still not.
Okay, but at some point we need to allow for satire and for commentary. And because when you get rid of that, then there's no other way for people to learn what it was like back then. So
And if you run with that theory and that thinking on this episode, the Okoya scenes fit right in as well, because to everyone's comments about how harsh Wayne and Dan are, they're truly showing, like we're seeing, don't do that. Like
Nobody does that, Matt. People don't do that.
But
they
people
never
don't do a lot of
like
other things.
said don't be a jerk though. I mean, that wasn't something that they said don't act like that. They just did it.
They just
and
did
I
it.
mean,
And
sure they
people
got
in
a
real life
tip at
don't
the
do that.
end.
Victor, pull away from the mic.
Yeah,
There's
step
some
back and like
assholes out
Oh,
there.
stop hanging out with D-gens.
I'm not saying I do, but
Yeah.
they're out there.
They're
They
out
live
there.
amongst
Yeah,
us.
they're out there.
Yeah.
Any other points, Liz?
I don't know. I mean, nothing that you guys didn't touch on already. Oh, one other funny thing to me, like the funniest part of the whole episode to me, the very last moment in the church when Gail says, "Want a soap?" in their faces, and
Yes.
the way that they looked at each other, and the way she looks at him. Oh my god, that to me was the funniest moment in the entire show.
Yeah, those two are good together. They've had some good scenes together in the past too. They should do more coaching.
The other awkward point, and I didn't really understand why they did it, is I can't even remember why. When Coach started kind of laughing in a very strange, awkward way,
Creepy
I
way,
can't-
yeah.
Creepy.
It was
very creepy.
I feel
That-
like
and I didn't understand. Like and nobody else in the church understood either.
No,
So they just
yeah.
kind of went
It
on.
was like he was having an orgasm. Like
It's
he
just-
was grinding in his
Really?
pants.
Is that you think? You think?
Well, and he's been kind of doing that creepy laugh lately.
Yeah.
Like he did it
But it's
last
not
season.
cute. It's like it's not cute.
No,
or
it's not.
funny.
It's
like,
creepy.
I just think it's
and
weird.
it's supposed to be creepy.
I think it's supposed
But,
to be creepy.
but why? What was the purpose of it in that particular
To be-
scene?
Maybe
to be
we're
creepy.
seeing maybe we're seeing Coach's devolution, right? Maybe we're seeing him devolve into something more pathetic.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Didn't make any sense. Was out of place.
I feel
and
like that laugh there might have been something he threw at the end of a scene and they kept it because it is so uncomfortable, but also fun. Like it's funny in his way. Like that's kind of a Mark Forward thing to do.
I
It was appropriate where it was, and
Yeah.
it was funny, considering it was Coach.
All right,
Nobody else could have gotten away with
let's
that.
move on to ratings. Matt, what do you give this episode? Fresh, clearance, or compost?
God, this has been an interesting one. There's been a lot of things said, and I hear everyone. There's some viewpoints I wouldn't have considered, some highs and lows. The end of the day, show's a comedy. I laughed. I totally recognize the shitty humor that they've ingested into this one. But maybe I've got a dark sense of humor. But I like Liz, you made a comment about you were slightly offended by the one joke with the kid. Or I get it. As soon as I heard it, I'm like, oh, like that's not PC. But I laughed that because I knew what they were doing as well, and they're highlighting things they don't like. So should they have done it? I don't know. But I laughed. It's a comedy. The whole episode felt like a lot of satire and a lot of takes on old film and literature, things of that nature. It's a fresh for me. I laughed hard. I see through the joke and I'm okay with that. And it's a fresh for me.
Okay, fresh. Let's see. I'm lukewarm on this episode. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the church scenes a lot, actually. And I loved all the differences in this to old school Letterkenny, because they took a lot of creative, made a lot of creative choices here that they've never done before. It's very unlike Letterkenny. Usually Letterkenny is either a very motionless camera or it's a very slow moving camera. And in this case, there was a lot of quick zoom ins and stuff just some of this, like the use of the music and stuff. It's just very unlike Letterkenny of the past. So I appreciate the change in tone that happened. So during those church scenes, I really enjoyed them. The Okoya scenes, again, they seemed kind of out of place for Wayne and Squirrely Dan. I always like seeing new people in the shows, although I have a feeling the two Okoya guys they're one-offs, so we won't see them again, unfortunately. But it was lukewarm on those scenes. So the B storyline, whatever. The A storyline I really enjoyed. We get a lot of Glenn, which we always enjoy. We get a lot of Coach, which I really enjoyed. And I thought Stewart was brilliant chewing up the scenery. I'm going to give this one a clearance because I don't think it had enough to put it over the top, though. So, Victor.
Yeah. Wow. So the pros is definitely the production, right? So it was shot well. It was great cinematic kind of aspects to it. Everything from, I don't think they've ever used a soundtrack or a score.
It was very different.
To any of their scenes, which makes it special since they did use it. And again, I guess what we're going to get is satire for this entire season. We'll see, I guess, with the next episode. And if that's what they're doing, that's totally fine. But for me, the cons of this episode completely outshadow the pros, and there's just too much harshness. Like the Okoya scenes weren't funny to me. They didn't make sense because why would the Hicks pay to assemble furniture? It just doesn't make any sense.
Katie did.
She's a Hicks.
I think this is a big joke by Katie.
Yeah, that's fine, but it doesn't land. If it's a joke, it doesn't land. It doesn't make any sense. And it was just harsh. It was just unnecessarily harsh. And then just that comment towards Coach, it just didn't make sense. I don't know why, why they would say that. It just doesn't do it. And then just even the scene at the end, which nobody talked about, which was with Wayne and Rosie, it was just felt out of place. Like it didn't belong there. It's like, why would you end an episode with that when the episode was really not about that? At the beginning, when they were calling everybody to the church, it wasn't about Wayne and Rosie. It was about everybody. It was about calling everybody to the church. And it happens to be that Wayne didn't want to go and then they had that little exchange about the pork chops or whatever. And then the scene just ends the episode ends up with them, having their moment and then, having some fun. And it's like, okay, but that's not a payoff for the episode. That's not the punchline of the episode. So for me, that didn't land either.
Yeah. So I feel like,
anyway, for all those reasons, I have to give this one, unfortunately, yet another compost, and probably the weakest season so far out of the entire franchise.
Wow. Let me say this about that final scene. It really feels like that final scene in past seasons would have involved more people in the scene with the music. And I feel like they were going for one of those feel good closing scenes where everyone's getting together for whatever. But I really do feel like COVID was a big deal during those two seasons, and the fact
but it's fake news, Al. Like you're making a lot of assumptions.
Okay, but you've made your rating, and that's fine. I'm just trying to speak because to me, like it again, another interesting choice that they made to finish it off. Like I'm just adding to what you're saying. It felt strange to end it with Wayne and Rosie. I feel like in the past that would have been everyone getting together for a cookout afterwards or something like that.
Sure.
But because again restrictions, they're keeping each shoot tight with only one or two people, or you know what I mean, or certain groups of people. That's the way I know
what you're saying. Yeah. I just don't believe it to be true unless it's confirmed by somebody.
No,
so
but
I'm not going to give them a pass on.
No
this
one's going to
stuff
confirm it,
based on
but you can use like the information we're given and just look at the behind the scenes shots that you see when they're producing. Everyone's wearing masks all the time. Like this is
in episode 1, everybody was sitting close to each other in that fishbowl without any concern. So you know what I mean? Like,
well,
I don't know.
Well, maybe. Anyway, excuse me. Where are we at? Oh, Tanya, what's your rating?
Where are we at? Oh, Tanya. Liz, your points were brilliant. I really think you made me pause a little bit on how to take this episode again. Coach and Gail, I think that is a something that does need to be mentioned. Their body movements, how, like we've said before, Gail, the way she uses her body to express her words,
she's very expressive,
is over and above, and it just makes it adds another layer to the acting. And Coach is so much that way. And those two being paired up against each other, and the body move, again, we're learning so many things from Glenn. This whole soaking thing, last week it was, and there's your thread again, Victor.
Fitzbo.
We're learning Fitzbo from Glenn, and now we're learning what soaking is, or solkin. What is it? With an L?
Soaking, like
soaking.
Soaking, when you
like soak something.
You're soaking something. Got you. Okay.
In this case, you're soaking.
Sitting in the water.
Soaking.
Yes.
Got you. But again, their body movements with each other, so funny, and so just the two of them, they play so well. We've talked about Stewart and Roald being partnered up that way, and I think this is another power couple that just moves their body so well to just, again, another layer. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Coach is getting darker and darker and darker, and getting harder and harder to I don't know, like the whole suicide point that you brought up, it is they've never kind of gone that far, and there was a darkness to this episode. And that being that being mentioned,
and that comment being mentioned by Glenn,
made by Glenn, yeah. That I don't think we should kind of, that should definitely be considered when talking about this episode. It's strange that they would go that direction with Coach.
I mean, I see some of the comments. I mean, I think they've always gone that direction. Coach has always had fits of maniacal laughter, fits of like depression, fits of darkness. Just he seems to sell it even more now.
And the grinding and he's very. It's a very.
I mean, there's that one scene in the Letterkenny versus Penny where Wayne comes to his door and knocks on it and asks for change. Yeah. And when Wayne leaves, Coach turns around and says, "I'll be right there, Barb." Like he calls out to his dead wife, who Awesome thinks he probably still keeps in his tub, right? Like, I mean, so there's a lot of darkness there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was almost, because Awesome's theory was going around in my head at the same time I was watching this, and the whole, murder mystery and Stewart trying to, figure out who done it. And I'm thinking, okay. And it was related, like, we don't know Coach's name. And then Coach was doing all of these like weird little things. Mm-hmm. And then I'm thinking, maybe there is going to be a tie there somewhere, some way that Awesome's theory comes out. That Coach has an even darker
Coach
side.
and the police are gonna be like, and what's his name? And everyone's like, I don't know, we call him Coach.
Yeah, yeah. But I love that we're getting more Glenn, and I love that that snort laugh that he has is so much fun. Mm-hmm. It's a hard one to rate, this one, because it has both sides. So I think it just sits in the middle. I think it goes in Clarence.
Liz.
Yeah. I really wanted it to be a unicorn. I really wanted it to,
You were trying to manifest it with your
I was trying
hippo.
to send the positive energy to Victor, make him love it, but I have to admit I didn't love it. I loved a lot of things about it. Mm-hmm. And, like you said with Coach, he's always been dark, but it's kind of like, it's almost better when they just allude to it rather than just blatantly point it out. Like I felt like they kind of did. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's just me taking things, to that level in my head, because I don't know, I just, whatever. But I'm definitely going with a Clarence. That's the one in the middle, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Clarence.
Yeah.
You think I'd know by now, but
we could almost have a unicorn Clarence if that's a thing. Like if that makes sense.
I think Victor's
we have to
going
talk
for
Victor up in this compost, and
yeah.
Compost unicorn for the season for himself here.
Mm-hmm. No, it's not. No, I can't. Well, no. I don't think it'll happen.
I'm going to judge each episode on its own merits, and I will not prejudge based on these two past
because each episode is its own. There's not a thread. They don't have threads.
And that's okay. I've made peace with that. And I didn't give Compost.
Really have you?
I've made peace. That was like 30 seconds ago.
Yeah. Anyway.
We have the recording.
All right. We're going to run long on this episode. So let's move on really quickly. We're skipping top fives because, again, we don't have a site to display them anymore. Let's move on to MVP, and everyone write down who you who you think Victor's MVP is going to be, and we'll start with you, Matt. Who do you give the MVP to?
So who I give it, or who I think?
No, you.
Okay. Okay. Can I make one side comment before we do MVP?
Yeah, go for it.
So I'm listening to everyone, and this is the weird thing that just happened, and I'm not changing any of my rating or anything that I stand by it. I actually, after listening to everything, I'm starting to feel bad for enjoying the episode.
don't, man. It's
it was a good episode.
So listen, and I think this is how fucked this is. So I'm not changing how I feel. I'm like, there's like this little conscience inside me going, am I an asshole? Because I watch a lot of shit from all levels of humor. This one, definitely, I see everything you guys are saying. Mm-hmm. I still thought it was fucking funny.
Okay.
Right. And I'm okay with that. But I'm also mature enough to recognize I would not repeat that and do that and make those kind of jokes in a lot of cases. So I enjoyed it. I like the satire. I'm standing by it. I wish we could all enjoy it the same way. I recognize why you don't, but fuck you all for making me feel shitty for loving this episode. Okay.
All right.
Oh God.
All right.
Who's your MVP?
Oh yeah, who's my MVP? It was, and like I said, and I set this up, right? It's all by design. I treated this episode like duos. They were pairs.
Oh, okay.
So to me, I'm choosing a pair, and it was Gail and Coach. Those two the physical humor between those two is undeniable, and I fucking loved it.
Agreed. They were fun. All right, my MVP. I'm going to give you my top three. I thought Glenn was amazing. A lot of fun. Always fun when Glenn's around, except for that line. The rest of the scenes were with Glenn in them were a lot of fun. So he's a runner-up. Coach is another runner-up. Yeah, Gail and Coach, I think, should be my second runner-up because they were really good together. But my number one, I got to give it to Stewart. This was Stewart's episode to shine, and I thought he did a really good job just carrying that A storyline. I thought he was a lot of fun. So I'm giving my MVP to Stewart this time. Everyone write down what they think Victor is. Victor, we'll leave you into the end. Tanya, who's your MVP?
I'm going to have to give this one to Gail. I really liked how playful she is and how she really made it. Gave me the visual on what the word was that they were trying to use.
I feel like Gail may have gone to like miming school or something at some point, you know.
That moment is hilarious.
Okay, Gail. Liz, who's your MVP?
Well, I was going to also say Gail, but since Matt was able to pick a duo, I'm going to say Gail and Coach.
All right.
Yeah, because it was definitely them. For
Yeah,
me.
back there was a time where I would have said no, pick just one, but in this case, you make a good argument.
Well, especially since you sort of reintroduced Victor's game, we're allowed to pick anything we fucking want.
Yeah. There's no rule now.
All right, I love some of the Victor's MVP in the live stream. Somebody said the fruit cake. Somebody said the bowl of oranges in the cold open. That's from Jeff. Victor.
Hold on. I haven't picked mine yet for Victor.
Oh, hurry up. Victor's. Aaron thinks it's Billy Buttrey.
I was going to ask about that. So is that all those Nito scenes and stuff? That's him, right? That's what he does.
Well, that's a combination of, that's him setting it up, but I think the vision's always going to be the director. So Jacob Tierney and probably Kiso in tandem. But then it's them with the vision and then Billy making it happen.
Brings it to life. Yeah. So he basically puts what they're trying to do into a scene and make it look what they were asking.
So in that case, we need to give him a shout out because I do think that
it was
visually this was probably
some fantastic
my
stuff in this episode.
Yes.
Trace thinks Victor's MVP will be the Allen wrench. So Victor,
I've got it. I know it.
What's your MVP?
Sure. So my runner-up definitely would go to Derry just for checking out before things went off the rails.
Goddamn.
And also as a bonus,
I hate this game.
Also as a bonus for sitting in my chair, during the cold open.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
Sure.
So for those that are in the know, you know. But yes, he was definitely sitting in my chair. But the MVP easily goes to the act of docking.
Oh my God.
Really?
I would have never thought in a million years that you would have thought that was funny.
See, and everyone
The
on
what?
the
what?
docking. And
What
do
docking?
we ever find out what docking means? No.
So I looked it up.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
I looked it up, and I'm not going to describe it because I don't want.
Okay, thank God.
I'm not going to describe it. You guys can do your own research.
No, I need to know. I'm not looking that up
Not
if
with
it's
your
wrong.
work computer. Don't look it up.
Yeah,
with your
yeah.
work computer.
The thing
Look,
is,
you made me look up Lemon Bar. Or no, Matt made me look up Lemon Party.
No,
I
Matt
need to
did
know
not
what.
do
I
that.
know-
That was
yeah, you
Steven.
did. What is
I still to this
docking?
date have not looked up Lemon Party.
Okay,
And
just
don't.
reference
Yeah.
what it is. What is docking?
I know what it is. It's,
Where you
not
tie
so-
your boat
it's-
to the dock.
It's not so shocking. Just think about it.
Whatever it is, it's not something
Oh
Gail
no,
and
it's
Coach can
wildly
do.
shocking.
It's not that shocking. And the thing
But
is,
Gail and
I'm-
Coach can't do it.
Gail and
I'm
Coach
thinking-
can't do it. So
the reason
It takes
so-
two men.
All right. So the reason I gave this an MVP is for a couple of reasons. Number one is I learned
Say
something.
two non-Jewish men.
Well.
Oh
anyway.
yeah, Case, it's a foreskin thing. Oh wait a minute, I know what it is now. Oh no! Oh shit!
So the reason
visions in
I gave this
Oh,
one an
no.
MVP is for a couple of reasons.
Okay, show me a picture.
I'm drawing a picture.
All right.
Oh my God, she's gonna think you're showing how a space shuttle ducks to the
Yeah.
to
Why
the
was he
space
Gordon?
station.
Yeah.
I think I. Oh. Yeah, right.
You get it?
Over?
Well,
it's over
Big
top?
Doc, yeah.
It's
For
like
the
when is
listeners,
it? Got it.
Al is
Like
drawing
the shuttle
Yes.
driving it.
Like the shuttle?
Anyway, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. Liz is killing herself.
Is that a thing?
So
so you're moving on. I was going to give
Oh.
my reasons as to why
okay,
I'm giving this an
give us
MVP.
your reasons, because everyone in the go.
Right. So reason number one is I learned something new. I never
Liz
knew
is
this
dying.
thing, this existed, and it's a thing. And I also learned about soaking, but soaking is just stupid.
Yeah.
Whereas this,
Pointless.
if I was gay, I'm thinking that probably is pretty kinky, and I probably would try that.
Mhm.
But I'm not, so unfortunately, that's not in my future. But
Unfortunately, huh?
so
I'm
so
sorry,
that's
you're
what
giving
is.
it to talking?
That's
It's
so I'm
Victor,
giving it
it's
to
Victor,
Doc. I
it's
thought
Victor.
that was the most interesting.
I was
thing
being
to
yelled
come out
at
of this
on the live stream saying, "Don't tell him what we're thinking because it's going to influence him." Do you not know by now? Nothing influences Victor. He's going to go with what he's going to go. Casey's crying, so you've made Casey cry, Victor. Well done, Matt. What was your guess?
I didn't even have
You
one.
didn't have a
I
guess?
just gave up. I'm like, I'm
No.
so lost on this one. I just didn't even try this
See,
game.
my guess was rolled boombox. I thought like that might be, like just removed enough from the action that he might have said, "Oh, I appreciate the boombox did its job. It played the thunder sounds when he was called on." Tanya, what was your guess? You were
Pork
so
chops.
sure.
Pork chops. I thought it was
board chops.
There was going to be the boar chops on the barbecue because he likes food
Yeah,
and,
okay, yeah.
and he made the comment.
Yeah,
And so I thought,
Oh,
I could
man.
crush a board chop.
Liz, what did you think?
I put either the church pews or the cane because I was trying to think of the most out there
Yeah.
thing
yeah.
I could think of. I have no
Asinine,
reason
yeah.
other than that.
All right. So we're going to move on real quick
Docking.
because I got a ton and
we
we're
need to put rules on Victor for
we're
next
almost
round.
at 2
if Matt
hours.
and I
I
are
think I
ever
was
going to
closest
survive
for writing
this,
nothing.
Okay, we're almost at 2 hours. So I got to go through this real quick here. Twitter poll. What is your favorite chip flavor from last week? 674 votes. 34%, 34.6% said all dressed. 13.6 dill pickle, salt and vinegar, 27.3%, and other was 24.5%. And that started a whole great conversation on Twitter. People posting their favorites. It was a lot of fun to follow. So I suggest you look that up.
love chippies.
We have lots of listener comments. Twitter got dragged on Twitter last week, so I'll read a few of these here. Struggled to figure out the fishbowl scene until I listened to the podcast today. The gym scenes were absolutely hilarious, and no one noticed the Christian nature of Glenn's response. I am, and I plan to be, as a reference to the name of God, Yahweh. Of course, I might be overthinking it. That's from our buddy Jim Tussing. I'm Catholic and I didn't know that, or I didn't recognize that. Okay, guys, it must be the single viewing, but Victor just missed the episode. There are so many little things that make this great. The little touches between Wayne and Derry, the low bones, Dan getting irate, so many. Multiple views are necessary. Glad you're back. And that's from our buddy Don. He also goes on to say, great job at Due North. You hit on a lot of my points for episode 1. The little physical stuff had me excited. Plus, Rolled was fantastic. Ron and Dax doing push-ups with Ron's feet on Dax's back. We had to rewind a few times to make sure. Great review. Victor's just wrong. And that's from Don again. Great discussion on episode 1. Definitely felt like a social experiment. Victor needs to pull his head out of the compost pile, but I respect his argument. That's from our buddy Dominic. I stand with Victor this week. So we did have somebody agree. Even with the social explanation, I thought it was funny, but weak. Overacting was at its best. Gail got way too much annoying to watch. Oh, well, I'll rewatch and then move on to episode 2. That's from PJ McCarthy. And PJ, you're getting a hippo from Victor. Heard an interview with Terry Ryan over the Protestant Pod, who plays Ted Hitchcock on Letterkenny and Shoresy, and he said the dialogue reminds him of Arrested Development. I never made that connection, but as a rabid fan of the first 3 Arrested Development seasons, he is on to something. That's from Jeff. And final comment here, with all due respect to the other universe guests, this is one of the best to date. Super organic and casual conversation. Y'all sound like high school buddies. God bless the Blue Nosers. That's from our buddy Adrian, and he's talking about our recent interview with Ryan McDonald, which will be going out next Tuesday. A lot of fun. He was amazing, so we thank him for joining us. Okay, so I got through all those. Now I'm going to go real fast around the horn with final comments. Matt.
This was an interesting one. I'm glad it happened. I'm feeling dirty. But I'm okay with it. I'm okay. I'm gonna accept it.
Dirty.
And I'm very interested and excited and nervous to see where the rest of the season goes. They're definitely trying new things. But I'm very anxious and I'm ready for anything. Liz, thanks so much for coming out. You did fantastic. You endured our chaos. I know this at the beginning you sounded very I was actually surprised where you went with this, because you came in with the hippocorn and you were already talking about unicorns before. I'm like, oh, she loved this one. But I get the rest. Sorry we couldn't give you a unicorn. You'll have to come back.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm still surprised this is the first time this is your solo, because you've been part of the fam for so long now.
And
behind the
writing some
scenes.
great
writing some
stuff for us. Thank you
stuff.
so much.
That's been really fun. Yeah.
Oh my
Thanks for that
God.
opportunity.
Keep it coming.
Yeah.
Keep them coming.
Keep them doing. Keep challenging us. I know Trace and I have done some banter about it, and I love it. I mean, challenge us. It's fun to try to push our own pipes and try new things, and you guys are bringing some real material.
I have at least 3 scripts that I'm excited to produce coming up. Like I can't wait. But
For the ads.
For the ads, they're so well done. Yeah. All right,
thanks, guys.
It's down to me. Yeah, Liz, you did an amazing job. Sorry we couldn't deliver you a unicorn, but I think I think you delivering the hippocorn, made Victor's night, and Victor has made a lot of people angry on the live stream. So there's that. You did a great job, and again, thank you so much for all the creative stuff you've been giving. Excuse me. Contributing. That's the word I was looking for to the podcast. We appreciate you. We hope you keep doing it. You and Trace are now like the new Simon and Garfunkel writing team, or whatever, like for music. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone on live stream for being patient. We will be opening up the line for the after party in a second, but first we'll hear from Victor himself.
Yeah, I'll make it quick. I mean, Liz, unfortunately, we weren't able to bring the love for the episode, but we love you on this podcast, and we love you in the community, and we love you for your incredible talent. Without making music references, I guess you're the Agatha Christie of our writing team, because you're absolutely incredible, and can't wait to have you back, and hopefully to have you back for season 2 of Shoresy, because you're more likely to get a unicorn over there. But just thanks so much for what you've done for us, for the community, and for being a great guest today.
Everybody's said the same thing that I'm going to say, but it is so true. Liz, thank you so much for coming out. You really added a lot. I know it's tough coming at the very end of things. I prefer it, but everything was already said, but you still had really great points that that you brought to light. So kudos to that. It's never a dull moment. And there's 2 hippos. There's like hippo love going on.
3,
so
2.5.
Yeah,
the
2.5.
baby,
The baby going on. So yeah, it was a great night. Looking forward to another homework night, and to see the rest of the season.
All right, and Liz.
Yeah, just thanks for having me on. Finally, it's nice to have a new season. I think I didn't even start watching / listening until after season 10 came out, because I was kind of late to the Letterkenny game. So I am really excited to finally get my own solo episode, even though I was nervous.
No, you did great. We couldn't have guessed that you were nervous. You did amazing.
Everybody did a great job.
I love our community on Discord, and they were all like giving you props and encouragement and words of love and so our community fucking rocks. So kudos to them for helping you get to this point.
They definitely did. And some tech help, because when I first booted up my computer, it wasn't connecting to the internets. So I got a lot of advice on there. My phone was, and the TV was. So anyways. But everybody's just so amazing, and so amazing to me and to us. And, I'm so happy to be a part of this community. you guys are amazing. As much as you argue and stuff, it's like watching siblings fight or something. It's very loving.
Yes. We appreciate you being part of this community. Okay, we're going to play us off here with really the only song from this episode, and it's Enya by the Age of Electric. I love this song. And that's all we have for this episode. Next week, we recap and review episode 3 of season 11, Lost Dog, with our buddy and my understudy, Casey. Don't forget to give our sponsor, Diabolical Coffee, some love. They're at diabolicalcoffee.com. Right now, you can use a promo code PRODUCESTAND for 20% off any purchase from their site. If you'd like to support the podcast, rate us on iTunes, Spotify, or become a patron. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Hive Social at ProduceStandPod. Thank you for joining us. Now we're going to take our baked goods and go over to the after party. On behalf of Liz, Tanya, Matt, Victor, and myself, thank you for listening. Have a great week, and Happy New Year.